I had a sweetheart and a friend. We were very close, the three of us. We went everywhere together. Well, this one time we went mountain climbing. My sweetheart couldn't climb very high, so she stayed behind at a hotel while my friend and I went on. We didn't get very far before we started to argue. I don't remember what about. We always argued, as friends do. But this time he hit me with a rock. So I hit him with one.
Not too much detail.
Anyway, we had a bloody fight, and he ran away. So I went back to my sweetheart. She was waiting in the lobby of the hotel. She didn't even say hello. She took one look at the blood on my clothes and saw that I was alone and started to scream, "Murderer, murderer." That was how I found out that my sweetheart and my friend were sweethearts.
Who saw to it that you were arrested and charged with murder?
Oh, my sweetheart, of course. Her testimony and the blood on my clothes were enough. I was found guilty of murdering my friend, and I was condemned to death. But because nobody could produce the corpse of my friend, living or dead, my sentence was commuted to 15 years at hard labor.
And was the corpse of your friend never found?
I found it myself. After I served out my full 15 years at hard labor, I found it accidentally. I was walking past a restaurant in Toronto. I happened to look in the window, and there was the corpse of my friend sitting at a table eating a bowl of soup. I think it was pea soup.
Immaterial and irrelevant.
Well, I went in and spoke to my friend in a very friendly fashion. I asked him very nicely where he had been for 15 years and why he never admitted that I didn't kill him. His answer, gentlemen, was unsatisfactory. So I hit him in the face with the bowl of soup. Then I hit him with a chair. Somebody called a policeman. The policeman had a club. I took the club away from him, and it was with the policeman's club I finished up on my friend. I tried to explain to the policeman that if I was committing a crime, it was a crime for which I had already paid the penalty. He arrested me anyway.
You were released, of course.
No, I was tried for his murder again and sentenced to death again.
But how could you be tried twice for the murder of the same man?
The prosecutor insisted that this was not the same murder. The first time, no dead body was produced as evidence. Well, the prosecutor was very fair about it. He was willing to admit that my first conviction was probably a miscarriage of justice, but even though the first jury made a mistake, he said I didn't have the right to commit a murder just to correct that mistake. He demanded the death penalty, and I was condemned to death.
But this time you were pardoned.
No, this time they didn't even commute my sentence. You see, the fact that I killed my friend with a policeman's club made it a very serious crime.
Then, will you tell us, Mr. Shunderson, how did you manage to escape?
I didn't escape.
Well, what happened to get you out of it?
Nothing. I was executed.
Executed?
This is absurd.
It was on the morning of the 29th of February, 1932, a leap year. It was a gray and rainy morning. The hangman put the noose around my neck. Then we had to wait because some official forgot his glasses. They held an umbrella over me so I wouldn't get wet. Then the official's glasses came. He read something. The minister prayed. I closed my eyes and thought of my mother. The floor went out from under me, and that was that.
I must protest against this fantastic and childish assault upon our intelligence.
You be quiet. Then what happened?
The next thing I felt was a finger with a rubber glove on it. It was in my mouth, pressing down on my tongue. I bit it, and somebody yelled. I opened my eyes, and that was the first time I saw Dr. Pretorius. Only he wasn't a doctor then, just a medical student.
I think I can make this next part of the story clear to you. At the time all this happened, I was just finishing my studies as a medical student. I was also keeping company, as they say, with a young lady who happened to be the hangman's daughter. Both the hangman and his daughter were generous and sympathetic. The hangman, in particular, was sympathetic to my desire as a student of anatomy to have a cadaver of my own. Well, knowing that Mr. Shunderson's body would go unclaimed, because certainly no one was ever more alone in this world than poor Mr. Shunderson was, the hangman managed to send it to me immediately after the hanging, along with a sweet note from his daughter. I was delighted, of course. But not for long. I soon found out that Mr. Shunderson was still alive.
You must have been furious.
He told me his story. We put some pig iron in the cheap wooden coffin that he'd arrived in and had it buried in a charity graveyard. From that day on, he has never left me. And I think it is understandable that from time to time he may seem a little confused and perhaps even a little dull-witted.